All right, people, welcome back to Irons United with your man Rich Farson, and I'm joined by my good mate Mr. Luke Bailey for a double bubble show that we've been meaning to do for God knows how long. We finally got around to it. How you doing, Geezer? You surviving?
I'm getting there. I'm all right. I'm getting near the crazy stage now, but I'm all right now. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm dealing with it.
Have you still been able to work and stuff at least? You haven't been furloughed or
Yeah.
anything?
No, I've been non-stop. I'm one of the lucky ones out there. I've been non-stop working practically. Only a few days off over the last 6 weeks. So yeah, I can't complain. I'm still getting. I'm still employed. So yeah, that's nothing to moan about really.
No, good
Yourself?
man.
What's up with you?
Well, I mean, we had an original lockdown period of 3 weeks, and then that got extended for 2 weeks, and now we've come to the end of that 2 week period. So we've had 5 weeks, and now we've
Hmm.
gone down from level 5 to level 4. So we're doing it kind of in stages. So now
Mm.
in level 5, we couldn't go outside unless it was to go to the shops or to like fill up your car or something. Otherwise, it was
Mm.
prohibited. So I couldn't go for runs, couldn't see mates, couldn't buy alcohol, couldn't buy cigarettes, nothing like that. So level 4 now, which means you can go for runs and walks, but otherwise it's pretty much the same. So still pretty shite, I must be honest.
Yeah, that's. I must admit, I'm not really a kind of an outgoing guy, but there's if I hadn't worked, I'd have probably been, although isolation probably speaks to me. I've got no problem at all with just staying inside watching Netflix and playing a bit of PlayStation all day long and just sitting on the toilet. I could do it easily, I reckon.
Yeah.
I say it now, I haven't been able to do it, so I can't talk that much. But yeah, it's got its positives, definitely has. I think.
Yeah, good man. I'm similar in that way. I mean, I love going out on the piss, of course, but I don't mind watching the odd Netflix film. I mean, I've been smashing my series and the whole lot. But anyway,
I think every
go for it.
I
Go
think
for
I think everyone's just become a bit of an alcoholic, haven't they?
it.
Because you can't go out.
Hundreds, hundreds.
Everyone's just stocking up on supermarket. It's just everyone's learning how to make a new cocktail or you know how to make the next strongest drink or who can down a drink faster than anyone else. And everyone's creative juices are getting a bit more. It's getting a bit risky out there because there could be a few more hospital admissions with people getting the stomach pump. But yeah, it's good on you people. Have a beer on me.
At least you can buy alcohol. We can't. So I mean, we stocked up at the beginning, and now we pretty much dry. I've got literally like a bit of rum left and like a couple of beers. So it's pretty shit.
I'm sorry, but alcohol should be considered essential. It gets you through the shit times. I don't see
Yeah,
why
no,
that's looked down upon.
I completely agree. 100%
Unless you
agree.
don't buy 10 bottles in one day, that looks a bit risky. But if you,
Yeah,
it's a bit dodgy. But if you get like one a day or one a week, maybe it's a bit better.
yeah. Are you missing the Premier League? Like, do you wake up on a Saturday and go, ah, shit?
I don't mind not losing. That's one improvement from it. I don't mind waking up about like 9 o'clock in the morning and going, putting a loose today. Let's get down. Let's have the pie and mash. Let's have a few pints and then let's watch this utter crap in front of me in the London Stadium or whatever. But I don't know. It's just different. I think when this all happened, my mind went right. This is a fucked up situation. Now this is weird. So football's like I don't know. It's kind of one of them things where your mind goes into sort of autopilot where I haven't even thought about football. I think if I started to think about football, I'd make me feel bad. So I'm kind of going well. I'd rather not think about it and then just concentrate on everything else. And I've thrown myself into work lately, so that's kind of helped me take my mind off things. But yeah, it's I'm definitely missing it. And there's videos coming up more and more now on the internet, on Facebook and Twitter and that, which are making you miss it more. I see yesterday that Mr. Snodgrass shared your video to his story, so you're still out there kicking the ball about, ain't you? Wasting your
Yeah, no,
time.
that was mad. Like, I literally, obviously, there's a Declan Rice challenge because Snoddy started a podcast with Chris Boyd. It's called
Where's that come from?
Lockdown Tactics or something. Obviously, they board as well. I mean, I might give it a watch. Looks decent. They've had Wilshere on and everything, but Declan Rice did a challenge, like a skill
Mm.
challenge, and you have to try copy it, and then the winner gets to sign Declan Rice like match worn shirt or something. So I was like,
Mm.
screw it. I'm on holiday kind of now because I've got a little bit of a break between my studies. I was like, cool, let me get the football, go around the back. Did the skill. And then you know how you are, you're always optimistic. I was like, let me just mention Snodgrass, mention Rice, and
Yeah.
just I fucking hope for the best. And then next thing I see, Snods 10 mentioned you in his story. I was like, nah, they're taking the piss, man. It's some like fake account or something. And then I go and it's literally my video, and he only reposted my video. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah, I saw
awesome.
that. There was no one else that got posted onto it. So fair play to you, boy.
Yeah.
You're sort of famous now. So don't forget me when you're famous. But yeah.
Cheers, brother. I'll never forget you. I'll never forget you. If I ever make it in life, or should I say when I make it in life, we are gonna get on the piss for sure.
Yeah.
And make
You
up
said that. You said
for
that last
December
time.
when I didn't
Yeah.
have it.
Yeah.
I owe you one.
Exactly.
I owe you one for when I was over and we didn't even go out. So yeah, that was my
You
fault.
do.
I
I'm not
apologize.
bringing my bank card out that night. You can pay
Uh,
for everything
yeah,
just to make
fine.
up for it.
Fair. Yeah, fair play. Fair play. If they had to, if the Premier League, because obviously that no one really knows what's happening. Um, People are saying, yeah, it could be declared null and void, like the French league and the Dutch league, but they obviously gave PSG the title. Would
Which
you
no, this.
would you take it if they had to say, listen, we'll give Liverpool the league, but the rest is null and void? Or as you stand, for example, the bottom three will go down, blah blah blah. Would you take that now if they put that on the
No,
table?
be, no, because in my opinion, once they started calling off all the leagues, it was like, right, well, if they're calling it off, everywhere has to be called off. It's not fair on other teams to have to suffer and whatever. And then you realise how much money goes into the top leagues, especially the Premier League. And this is obviously a reason why they're trying to get it back up. And I was saying to some of the guys at work that I think if the Premier League it was like a 2 horse race or the 3 horse race, and there wasn't just one clear, you know, Liverpool weren't so out in front. Maybe they go, oh well, it's tight, so we'll call it off. Because Liverpool is so far in front, it's maybe there's got to be a lot of stuff behind the scenes. There's got to be, in my opinion, Liverpool representatives going, we're not having this. We're winning that title. You've got to
Yeah.
find a way to keep the season going. Um, I would rather, I'd rather. It's going to sound a bit weird, but if West Ham are going to get relegated, I'd rather us have the chance to try and survive. Because I don't agree with PSG being handled the title either. I know that they win it every year and they were favourites anyway, and all this and all that. But if you're going to avoid the league, no one gets relegated, no one wins anything, no one
Yeah.
qualifies for anything. You literally just go, right, this season didn't happen, basically, which, it's not fair on a lot of people. It's not going to please a lot of people, but then no one's going to be pleased about this situation. So you've got to try and do what you've got to do. And just if you're going to avoid the league, you avoid it. No one does anything. No one has any success. No one has any failures. You just avoid it. I do feel sorry for Liverpool because a lot of people out there don't really like Liverpool or their fans or whatever. I'm not one of them sort of people. I actually kind of like respect Liverpool as a club. And I think if you're that far out, it must feel gut wrenching to be so close last year. You haven't won in 30 years. You've been clearly the best team in Europe all over, and you fundamentally you do deserve it. Probably you do deserve to go out and win, but you've still got to mathematically make it happen. And if you haven't done that, what gives you the right, like anyone else, to win what you haven't officially got hold of? So, in my opinion, no, it wouldn't be fair. No, I don't know what your opinion is of it.
Yeah, no, I would be devastated if they had to void the season. Personally, I don't think they will. Even though there is a little bit of pressure from obviously the French league and the Dutch leagues, I just think the Premier League kind of consider themselves like elite and they're kind of their own league and they'll make their own decisions. There's so much money, there's so much at stake. I would be gutted for example, West Brom in the Championship and Slav because I think they deserve to be promoted. So
Yeah.
one way or the other, you've got to try get the season completed, whether that means playing behind closed doors. That will obviously be the shittest possible way to finish a season, I must be honest. And it could bite us in the arse because us playing in
Mm,
an empty London stadium is not going to be fun for anyone.
no.
Um,
No.
so yeah, they've got to just try find a solution. But right now, until there's a vaccine, no one really knows what's happening. So I just think it's going to kind of go on and on and on. Although the Premier League, as far as I'm aware, have kind of been given a date by, I think it's UEFA, to say, listen, by this date you have to have made a decision on what you're going to do. Um,
Mm.
but right now there's just so much uncertainty. But I'd be gutted if I was in the bottom three. Imagine if West Ham in the bottom three and they said, listen, we're cutting the season there as the standings are. Is how you'll finish. Obviously, Liverpool deserve to win the league, like hands down. They should be given the title. But I mean, at the bottom, it's so tight. We're up on goal difference. It's super, super tight. So for me, I'd prefer them to get the season finished one way or the other.
Yeah, it's. But for me, if you're going to if you're going to play out the rest of this season, or just give Liverpool the title, you've still got 3 teams in the relegation zone. Do you then go, okay, well, if you're going to do that, then we'll relegate the 3 teams, but then you've got to try and promote the teams in the Championship. And there's 3 teams that have got to come up. You can't just promote the 2 automatics. You've got to try and work out a way to do, maybe it's the top 3 in the Championship to go up. But I don't really see. Yes, it's it's the richest league in the world. It's the most £1 billion generated league in the world. What's the world? Obviously, it has more presidents financially than any other league, but I just think it's complete arrogance that it's just like, well, we've got to find a way. There's been obviously you've had the Euros suspended or postponed, and if you're going to do it the way they're trying to do it, why not just hold the season until you can resume football? Could be in a year's time. Could be in 2021 in February or something like that when they go, right, well now we'll play the last 9 games. But then that's weird and it's just awkward and it messes everything up because you're trying to get everything ready for the next season. But then the time they've had off, maybe this is a good chance for it to be like pre-seasons for players to have some rest. But like I said to everyone else, this is not just a weird time for football. It's a weird time for everyone, for the whole world.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone has a clue what to do. And I think even when you've got countries out there who, we're not in lockdown anymore, or we're very relaxed about it, we've got over it now. That's their problem. That's their country. They're doing what they've got to do. But no one's really going, we're fine now. As far as I know, I've not been having my head straight in the news, but I don't know if there's any country that going, we're completely virus free. We're no lockdown. We're back to normal life. Boom, boom. I don't think any country's like that, and I think everyone's just sort of suffering. So it's almost like I'm kind of thinking, just not fuck football, but can football just take a back seat for a minute? Why is it so important that you got to get through it? And I think it's just stop it, just hold it all off. Stop thinking about next season. Stop thinking about titles. Just let's stop worrying about football. But then I'm not a governing body. I'm not FIFA. I'm not UEFA. So maybe I'm talking out my arse. I don't know.
No, I hear you. I mean, the whole world is going through like such uncertain times, and pretty much no one has a clue. But I think what's going to have to happen when football does finally get back to happening, teams are going to have to be flexible because they might well have to compress games or compress seasons. You might be having to play 2 to 3 games a week or whatever. So suck it up. You're footballers. You get paid a shit ton of money. Suck it up and make it work. But I understand. I hear you where you say if you have to wait until it's safe to do so, wait and then finish it. But just compress the games. If it means next season's a bit delayed, so be it. I mean, it's a pandemic,
All this behind closed doors stuff. It's like, are you that desperate? Are you really that desperate to play football? Are you really that desperate to get games done? Like Italy tried it, and then they went, no, this isn't good enough. It's almost like when you've got, it's just like you're trying to tell the naughty kid at school to sit down and behave himself. Like just finding ways to annoy you. Just like, no, what if I do that? What if I do that? But I'd say one thing though that made me realise is that if you think about the players who are close to retirement, right? So you've got players like Ronaldo and Messi, who probably have a good few years ahead of them. Don't get me wrong, they're not on the verge of retirement right now, but this lack of momentum, this lack of always playing football, this cog that's stopped working now, to stop going, that halts their careers. And when you're 22, 23, 24, you can pick that up in over the next year to 6 months. You can start going, right, okay, I've had that time off. It's like a big long rest after a season, isn't it? But with them, their body clock's running down, and it's going to be a real big shame if players like those two go, well, they for example could have played for another 2 years, they could have won titles, they could have scored a load more goals, but this has caused them to retire earlier because their body can't catch up with the break they've had. And It's players like who I'm thinking now is Mark Noble for us, who this could see him come back and not have any sort of form, and suddenly his body goes, no, I've had it because I've had too long a break. I don't care what you can say. You can train as much as you like on your own at Russ Green. You can train as much as you like running around the local park to keep your fitness up. Nothing compares to real game football experience. So if you're
Absolutely.
match sharpness, match fitness, I don't care how much you're running in your back garden on a training field. Once it comes to the big time, if you think, fuck, I've had 6 months off, and you've got Declan Rice absolutely tearing around, keeping midfield going, Suchek there as well. Noble comes on for the last half an hour and he's puffing out of his arse after 10 seconds. It's a shame. It's a real big shame that this has happened, because it's like people like Mark, for me, it's players like Mark Noble are going to suffer because their bodies won't be able to regenerate as quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing can replace that like physical contact of going into a tackle, getting back up, running.
Mm,
It's
mm,
as you say, it's good and well training at home, and I have no doubt in my mind the likes of Ronaldo's and your Messi's will be staying as fit as anything during this time and will be doing everything they need to do. But nothing replaces that physical contact and sliding into challenges.
mm,
You simply can't replace that whole match scenario. So I
mm,
completely agree with you. I think it's going to have a massive toll on the likes of Nobes and Zabaleta potentially.
mm.
Um,
Well, yeah,
but I mean, it's
that's definitely
interesting
coffee
times.
message for him.
It's interesting times. But I mean, we unbeaten in 5 weeks. The Messiah's doing the business.
That's what's really annoying, right? Is that we've actually played blinding the last 3 games. Liverpool, we would have won if Suchek hadn't come off and Fabianski would have had a bad game.
Yeah,
We then dicked all over Southampton, and then for me, we were really unlucky to lose against Arsenal. We didn't take our chances, which is our fault, but we were really unlucky to lose that game. And you could just sense the momentum coming back to West Ham. We were losing games, but West Ham fans will always say, if you give your all, we don't mind. It's as long as you give your all. That's the least thing that we respect. And since Kevin Nolan came in, he's changed everything about the squad, and we looked 10 times fitter. We looked 10 times better for the games, and it's like I said, it's just gutting that everything started to pick up for us. I mean, don't get me wrong. Teams like Norwich are thinking hallelujah, because if they don't avoid the season, they stay up. They're in the worst form of their life, and suddenly, you go. Everton fans must be just like COVID lovers, because them Man United must be going. Liverpool so far out ahead, their lives are just all the fans
yeah.
must be going. Yep, we're going to win it now. And suddenly, bang, out of nowhere, a fucking worldwide virus comes in and stops it all. I mean, that's just.
No, I
I
completely
don't know
agree.
what you call that.
We did have good momentum. Even against City away, I thought we put in a really good shift. And then the Liverpool game, as you said, I mean, in what world does Fabianski make an error like that? I mean, it's just unheard of. So, I mean,
Mm,
you have to kind of just accept it. And I'm not going to judge Fabianski for it because he's saved our ass on so many occasions anyway. But we did start to see that like passion coming back to the club, because at one point when Pellegrini was there, like honestly, it just
mm.
seemed dead. It just seemed like the whole squad was dead. It just seemed like the fans were starting to turn. Obviously, Moyes has come in and hasn't done the most amazing job. We've lost quite a few games, but in saying that, I've seen our performances pick up, and I've seen us be unlucky in games. The Arsenal game, we should have been 4-0 up. I mean, I
Yeah,
can't
we
believe
should.
we lost that game. I still pull my hair out
I
today.
know.
Like, so yeah, I mean, we were on the up, so it is a bit frustrating. But hopefully, when we do finally come back, we've got enough in the tank, because it's going to be squeaky bum time for us. We forget how tight it is at the bottom.
It's, this makes me laugh, right? I can't. If they did null and void the season and we started all over again, say I don't know, next year. I don't know when they would do. I don't know when they would do. Whenever they did it, and it would be so typical of West Ham if like Liverpool didn't have the greatest season. It was like a normal season. There was 2 or 3 teams going for the title, and everyone was chasing for everything, and we were still down the bottom. I mean, this is West Ham's chance now to go right. Owners, there's no protest going on outside the ground for you. This is your chance now to do things that are right for the club behind the scenes. So
Yeah.
I don't talking of Moyes, I'd like to be seeing him given a chance of a full season and a full transfer window if that can happen with all this going on. I think that just bringing him in to keep us up, he's not been that type of manager ever. And he'd done really well with us last time when he managed us before, and I think he deserves a chance to do it again. And the way things are going, I think he would keep us up.
Yeah.
But with I weren't going to talk about transfers, but obviously it's been in the news that Declan Rice has been linked with a move to Chelsea, Man United, etc. And
Yeah.
that was always going to happen. That is always going to happen. And if we don't start achieving more than top 10 at least, then they're going to go. So there's no point in people love Declan Rice, nothing against him, but he's got a career at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you know, he's a born and bred Chelsea fan. He appreciates West Ham, but in the day, when your family's all Chelsea and you've got Chelsea knocking on your door, your best mate plays for him as well. It's going to be very, very appetizing. I'd actually respect him even more if he stayed at West Ham, but I would totally understand if he went to Chelsea.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just being
completely
realistic
agree.
from my point of view.
It's not like it's not like he'll be money grabbing or anything like that. As you say,
No.
it's a career choice. If you have the chance to play at a high level and you kind of see that things at West Ham aren't going to progress in the way you'd like them to, you can't really slag him off for wanting to, elevate his career. Of course, the optimist in me says, you know what, we stay up this season, we rebuild, we have a decent season next season, and maybe there's like motivation for him to want to stay on. But in saying that, once the season does get going again, what do you think it will be that will actually like keep us up? Which players do you reckon, or like what would West Ham have to do to survive? Like, because you said you reckon Moyes will keep us up. Why do you think that? What have you seen?
Well, I say Moyes. I think it maybe would be the injection of Kevin Nolan that he had when he came in. But I think under Moyes, I think he possibly is out of his depth, and I think we did see that in a few performances under him since he took over. But I think there's something about him where he genuinely wants to succeed as a manager. Again, I think he's realised that he's had a few failures, and he's coming at West Ham at a time we needed him, and he done the job last time. He made an average, what he was.
Yeah.
And there's just something about it where, we weren't. I don't think we were terrible. I think we've been terrible. I think we just made bad mistakes at the back, and we've lost games. And we have played poorly in some games, but never as bad as we were under Pellegrini.
I agree with you. I agree with you there, hundreds.
But I think he's a manager that's willing to try things out, and I think he made a mistake by constantly playing Lanzini. I think that was letting him down, and maybe Nolan had a word in his ear and said, "Look, you got to give Fornals
and not playing Fornals, yeah.
But I think that possibly not just Moyes will keep us up, maybe, but Nolan, and you've brought Nolan in now, and he's obviously had a massive effect. If you change it now, if you change the manager now, especially, and you've got a new manager coming in, and Kevin Nolan might not be looked at as someone who, where you come from, or you're Notts County, former Notts County manager, or all this and all that, it could change it. So right now it just looks like all the players, no one's moaning, no one's like, obviously it's a weird time anyway, but you don't hear. You're not hearing every player just wants to leave, do tear up my contract, do this, that. Like we heard a few rumours under Pellegrini, and I think if we can work the right formation, we can definitely get something out of this team. But we need to start investing in the defence, and possibly more wingers, just more attacking really, but especially getting more of a spine to the club at the moment. I think that's been lacking, and we've just been able to make do. Look, Bonner's not going to. I can't. Bonner's had a fantastic season for us, but will he have the same season next season? I don't know. And I think for me, in the future, the future is Diop and Balbuena for me. I know Balbuena hasn't played too well this season for what he was last season, but he's got it in him. So someone needs to get it out of him, and there needs to be something done. But
Yeah.
I just don't see the point in keep chopping change of managers, and we haven't been officially relegated under Moyes, so we haven't looked too in danger of that. So, in my opinion, I think Moyes deserves a chance. Give him some money, some proper money, and let him do what he's got to do.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it would be stupid to keep chopping and changing managers. There's got to be some continuity there. But for me, I think the biggest decisions we have is when it comes to getting some of the deadwood out. And we say this every single season. It's so frustrating. But there are unfortunately players there that are passengers for me. And that's where I thought the Bowen signing was so refreshing, because you can just see that he wants to do well. He wants to impress. He wants to play for the club. and he's the type of guy that makes those darting runs in behind defenses. I think he's going to be great for us. So for me, I'd rather have us, be a mid-table side and have guys that are going to dart and that are going to want to play for us, young, energetic players. I think under Pellegrini, we were guilty of having too many passengers that, were getting picked day in, day out. And that kind of brought the whole performance level of the team down. And I think, as you say, Moyes and Nolan have come in now, and Nolan's the type of guy that's not going to take any shit from anyone. And he's going to say, listen, you're not giving enough. There are people, for me, last couple of games that I've watched Anderson, I have been quite harsh on him because, I still feel like he can do more.
Bastards.
I still feel like he can do more. I still feel like he's not living up to his potential. 1 goal this season for me is not quite it's not quite good enough. So there's big decisions to be made on the likes of Anderson's, your Lanzinis. Diop, I still have faith he'll come right, but I think he's had a really poor season. I still have faith. And then there's people like Jack Wilshere that, will he ever play for us again? I know that's someone you wanted to chat about. Do you think it's worth even keeping him on another week? Why haven't we terminated his deal?
I think Wilshere is. I think Jack Wilshere's got a lot of stuff going on. I remember when Dan was in the group that he was saying that he met a former physio who worked on Jack Wilshere, and said it's all in his head. A lot of his stuff is in his head. He's got psychological problems where it comes to injuries that he can't recover from. There was other things that's been said lately about him that it's a lot of it is down to his regimes. He's been given bad advice by doctors and stuff like this. And I think he's a fantastic player on his day. I think possibly we have signed a crock where we thought maybe because he started to play for Bournemouth on loan, he was getting a few games for Arsenal when he come back. He might be trying to turn now. But I think on the other hand, it could have been just the owners trying to go, look, you're not a West Ham boy, but his family are all West Ham. He loves West Ham. He played for Arsenal. He's the great Jack Wilshere. The prodigy that was going to be, and it just hasn't happened. It's not a shock to anyone that he's been injured. The only thing I say about Jack Wilshere is the fact that he does train hard. Yes, okay, he jumps in a fucking washing machine, but that's a bit of banter, and players will have a laugh. They will be stupid and put it on social media as well, where they're going to get backlash, but they will do that. I guarantee you, them lot are mucking around a lot more than the fans see, and that snippet you saw of him jumping around.
Completely.
That's one of the first things they're doing, but there's 100 other things they're doing as well to each other. And he's probably a good lad in the changing room. He probably gets on with them all. That's why Snodgrass had him on his podcast, which I really need to watch and listen to because I think it's amazing.
I need to do the same,
podcast. But I'd keep him on as long as he's got a contract for the club. I wouldn't terminate it. Yeah, okay, we're paying $100,000 a week, but we're paying $100,000 a week to Sanchez, for fuck's sake, almost. So if you're going to get rid of Jack Wilshere, you might as well get rid of about 3 or 4 or 5 others. But apparently he's been saying lately that his injuries might be coming to an end or whatever because he's had pins replaced in his knee or something along them lines, and he reckons his knee could be even stronger or whatever. His ankle could be even stronger. So taking his word for it, if he's really wanting to recover and get there and play, give him a chance. Just give him a chance. And if it doesn't work out, then you terminate his contract because it has gone too long. But I'm always kind of hopeful that he'll turn it around. I don't know why. It's probably a little shit, to be honest with you, and pretty arrogant little cock. But I don't care. Just why is that the club and all that money? I can get it out of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think all West Ham fans, deep down in their hearts, really, really hope that Jack Wilshere will just suddenly come right. It's been when he first signed for us, all of us were kind of at the back of our minds, we're thinking, there's every chance he's going to be injury prone as hell, like he has been his whole career. But we also thought there's also that tiny chance that he'll be great for us and do amazing things, because that's just the typical optimist attitude of West Ham fans. So I really pray that when he does come back, he manages to put a prolonged period of games together. Am I optimistic? Yes, but you also have to be realistic, and you can't get yourself too excited because, touch wood, I mean, 1 or 2 games into the season, he does his ankle again or something, So you can't get too ahead of yourself. But I would love for him to play because he is
I
class.
hope that's real wood you just touched and not fake wood.
No, 100%. I've got a wooden window pane here,
Oh,
mate.
okay. Good.
Who do
That
you
bodes
think's
well.
been our standout performer this season? Because obviously it hasn't been a great season, but there have been 1 or 2 guys that have put
For
up their
me,
hands.
it's Antonio. Um, Purely from the fact that every time he's played, he's changed our whole dynamic. We seem like a more outgoing team when he plays. He does all the hard work. I get. I was on. I've done a video with American Hammers the other week, and they were talking about selling Antonio. They wouldn't mind selling him if he come up, and I completely disagree.
Yeah.
Respectfully, obviously, but he is just so underrated with the work he does, and I don't care that he hasn't got a footwork. I don't care that he can't shoot for shit most of the time. If you see what that bloke does when he takes on players and goes past defences and runs around, I've honestly, I want to kiss him after every game. I want to go. You are. Someone likes the fact you're doing it. Someone sees you're working so hard.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not just going under the radar. Maybe, but perhaps he's not a standout player. It's not really been a great season to have a standout player, but he's he's definitely the player that I would say probably be one of my choices for Hammers of the Year. But Bono really has to be a standout player because Antonio's been a bit injured this
Yeah, I
season.
was going to say
So
Oggy.
really, yeah, I knew you were. That's why it's Antonio. So,
No, look,
but
I
yeah,
agree. I agree with you on the Antonio front. I think he's one of those players that there's only a couple at the club that we have where he can literally, if he turns it on, he changes the game, you know,
mm,
and he literally makes defenders shit their pants when he runs at them. Like
mm,
apart from Adama Traore, I don't know many other
no,
players like that can literally just bolt past players so strong. Literally,
mm,
I don't think I've seen him get bounced off the ball once. He's just an absolute steam train. So,
mm,
touch wood again that he can stay fit because, when he's on it, he's on fire. Obviously, his finishing does need a bit of work. We saw that in the Arsenal
mm,
game. He could have had 2 or 3 easily, but he's definitely someone I'd keep at the club because we don't have enough of that. We don't have enough of that
no,
like raw, direct type
mm,
of player. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
that if I had to choose my standout, it would be Ogbonna. He gets so much shit every single season, and I've given him quite a bit of stick in the past. But I think this season he's been good. He's been really, really good. He's been obviously Balbuena and Diop have struggled. They've both struggled at
mm,
times. And Oggy's kind of been the linchpin that's kind of just stayed solid all season.
mm,
I noticed that when I came over, obviously I only watched 3 games of the season when in England, so I can't really comment. But I just saw the effect that Oggy has at the back. Like he seems to be the one that's kind of telling people what to do.
mm.
So yeah, long may that continue. But yeah, anything else you want to chat about, pal? Keeping this nice
Yeah.
and
What you
raw.
were? How long were you been on for? Because I'm pushing time a little bit here. I must
I'm not even sure, mate. It's been quite a
have.
while. I mean, we can cut it
Yeah.
whenever you want. I mean, are there any last
No,
thoughts you
no.
want to have?
Just one last thought before we go. Jermaine Defoe has come out and he said, I believe you've heard. I don't know if you actually
Yeah,
do.
I heard it.
But yeah, but what's your thoughts? I'm not going to talk anymore. What's your
No,
thoughts first
no,
of all?
go. Okay, I'll start and then I'll
Yeah,
send it over
yeah.
to you. Obviously, I think he's kind of looked back at that decision and gone, you know what, maybe I should have thought about it more. Maybe I was a bit immature, to just kind of throw up my boots and put in a transfer request in the way that he did. In saying that, though, I've just watched this documentary, Sunderland Until I Die, on Netflix. And
Mm,
they go like behind the scenes of the club. And there was a similar situation with one of their young strikers who
mm,
kind of wanted to stay at the club. Now they're in League One at this point, and he's like up and coming and everything. And he kind of wants to stay, but he's got an agent in his ear who every time the player gets asked a question, the player goes, speak to my agent. And the agent's only
mm,
got his own interest at heart. He wants to make
mm,
sure he gets the
mm,
transfer so that he gets commission, blah, blah, blah. And I think perhaps, I'm not sure I'm sure Jermaine Defoe had an agent at the time, but I'm sure there were people on the outside going, listen, they've just got relegated. You need to look at better avenues and greener pastures, blah, blah, blah. But I think he's matured now and he's thought back and gone, you know what, West Ham gave me my chance and I kind of threw them under the bus a little bit. And, you know, I'm not going to read too much into his comments because I've seen him score against West Ham and celebrate like he's just won the World Cup. So I'm not going to get too ahead of myself, but it was kind of refreshing to see that he owned up and said, listen, I was a bit of a cock, you know. What are your thoughts?
Well, I've never really forgiven him, to be honest with you. I think what he'd done with the young Bradley Lowry, bless him, was
respect him for that.
Was commendable. And obviously people grow and they change and they realise. But I remember him making sort of similar comments a few years back when I think he was playing for Sunderland and he was coming, you know, to West Ham or was playing against West Ham and whatever. And he's never not sort of said, well, anything different. And I think I would have been more sceptical if he was linked with a return to the club in like a coaching role or something like that. But he made him out of the blue recently. And yeah, I'd ban all agents, to be honest with you, because I know that football can be a cutthroat business and you have to look after your own assets. And if a club isn't really treating you right, an agent can get you a move, you know, out of a dodgy club and you can have the best career, better career and whatever, you know. But generally, football agents, especially in the top 2 tiers of football, they are literally out for the money, especially in the Premier League. And the way he's done it is completely wrong. But there's always a part of me that looking back at his career, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I apologise. But when he was at Portsmouth, Redknapp just at Tottenham just went, come play for me, come back to Tottenham, come back. And a snap of his finger, he went back to Tottenham. And all Portsmouth fans were thinking, well, why? I think it was even mid-season. I don't think he was even at the summer. I would give him time. I think he just went, that's it, right, going back to Spurs. And he's always kind of had it about him, I think. And he's had a weird career since, you know, around retirement. And he's been, you know, over in Canada, I think it was. Then he went to Sunderland. Then he went to Rangers. Bournemouth was also there as well. And I'm not putting the guy down too much. I don't know the geezer. I think he might be an alright bloke, and you know, it's fair play to him if he is. But I think he's one of them players where, you know, they've come out recently with Paul Ince saying that Paul Ince agent gave him dodgy advice, and there's a lot more to it. And apparently, there's podcasts out there with a real interview and stuff like that. But I'm thinking, look, when you shit on the club, right, you can't just go, oh, I'm sorry about that, because what does that do? Okay, we forgive you now. You need to do something. You need to come back. You need to. I don't know. Maybe he's looking for the chance to come back and do something. I don't know. Maybe he's been kind of eyeing up that role.
Maybe.
I want to come back, but I don't think you could. It's not as simple as just going, oh, I'm really sorry, I'm changed now. Oh, really? Oh, good for you, mate. No worries. Yeah, we were relegated that year. You got yourself sent off 3 times when you tried to get off at West Ham and stuff like that. So I think a lot of fans, and I kind of do agree with them, stick your apology, because fair play to you, mate. You're obviously a grown man. What you've done, that side of football and stuff like that is fantastic. But where West Ham's concerned, you made your bed. You know, don't stop apologising. It's up to the West Ham fans now to go to you, because knowing our owners, they'd take it back straight away. If they can make money out of his return, fucking hell, they'd give him right on the merch. But with us fans, it's going to take a hell of a lot than just an apology, a box of flowers and some some chocolates and whatever. So fair play to him, but I don't fully buy it personally.
No, yeah, I agree with you, because you know the way that he did it, you know, like literally right after we got relegated, was a bit of a kick in the teeth to hand in requests and stuff. So yeah, fair play for him to him, but I'm not reading too much into it, and I don't think a lot of West Ham fans are reading too much into it personally. But yeah, is there anything else you want to add?
No, that's it, mate. I think it's just been good to see your face and good to get on YouTube for Ryan United again, and also I think you've just had an interview, haven't you, with a footballer? You've done a video on your channel, so why don't you plug yourself? Come on, Rich, it's your time to shine now, mate. You don't have to plug Ryan United.
I'll put this video on my channel as well. But I did a video with actually, I'd consider him a friend of mine. I don't want to sound like a dick, but he is a mate of mine. Former footballer, Mamani Young, played in the Bundesliga for a bit, played in South Africa for quite a bit, played for the side where I study. and that's where I got to know him pretty well. So yeah, I've got a video where I interview him on my channel. And yeah, just to the general Iron United people, this is the first of many double bubbles. We've been meaning to this for so long, and finally we've done it. And now we know how to record, how to get it done nice and easy. Obviously, it's not going to have the best background. It's not going to have flashy images, but it's raw. It's Luke and I chatting shit.
You got Balotelli in your background, and I've been staring at him the whole time throughout this video.
Super Mario.
And I love him, so that's been good for me.
Yeah.
I like that background. But next time we might have some music on, get some spirits, get some alcohol, get a few drinks, you know, a bit of bubbly.
Yes.
We'll chill out and just shoot the shit, and it'd be like we're in a pub, but not in a pub. And I'm not taking Iron United idea of drinking, but we're staying. Cause that's great, and I will be doing that as well at some point. But yeah, we're very relaxed right now because there's no fucking football to get wound up about. So we're just gonna wind each other up and have a little chat. But I've enjoyed this. It's been good.
Yeah, no, cheers, mate. It's been world class. I've been Rich. He's been
right,
Luke.
I'm gonna do the Anton stuff now. So
go for it,
like and subscribe. Make sure you push that alarm bell so you get notifications when we've gone live and there's a video up. Thanks for tuning in. Get your comments in. We'd love to have you subscribe to us and all that. So I'm going to stop the accent now. He's going to be really offended, probably. So yeah, cheers for watching, guys. And cheers for your company, Rich.
Peace out. Cheers, Lukey. Love you lots, boy. And come on, your irons.
Oh, it's